This conference will now be recorded. Muted.
Oh.
Morning, everyone. I'm just going to wait a couple of more minutes just for everyone else to join.
Hi, good morning.
Morning, everybody. So it's just gone 10, so we'll get started. If I can just first ask everybody to pop yourselves on mute and turn off your camera. It's not that I don't want to have any interaction from you, it's just to avoid any background interference. But feel free to ask away in the comment section. I know my colleagues are there to answer any questions that you have. And then we'll have a section at the end as well for some questions. So if you haven't already done so, can you please pop your full name and email address in the comment section also. We will be sending you out certificates of attendance after the class, so this is just so that you get your certificate. If you are on an iPad or a mobile device, you might only be able to see my face now at the minute. If you swipe across, you'll be able to see the presentation. So I'll just wait a couple more seconds. Now, so we'll get started. So welcome everyone. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Jasmine and I am a team leader and educator here for Sweet Squared Ireland. So I educate LASHUS, Wax One and Moroccan Tan, but I absolutely love LASHUS. It's the first class that I started teaching way back when, and I've fallen in love with the brand more and more ever since. So I work for myself part-time aside from working with Sweet Squared. I work as a lash and brow tech for myself in Dublin. And I have tried so many other brands like lashes, lash extensions, lash lifting. I've tried so many other brands and I've never got the results that I've got with LASHUS. With other brands that I've worked with, I found that you might get results like amazing one time and then you could get completely flat lift the next. So with LASHUS, I just love that we get consistent results over and over, time and time again. So I hope that you'll love it as much as I do, and I'm going to bring you through your lash journey now. So the goals for today, so what I want for you to understand from today is an overview of LASHUS. So basically what we stand for as a brand with LASHUS, what's unique to ourselves in comparison to other brands. If you are using LASHUS and you're here for some top tips and tricks, we'll have some videos and refreshers for that as well. And if you've been using other brands, it'll just kind of give you an idea what will be different when working with ourselves. We will have a question and answer session at the end, but of course, pop out questions that you have. My colleague Victoria is in the chat to any questions that you might have throughout. So what's unique to ourselves at LASHUS? So we are exclusive to Ireland and the UK with Sweet Squared. So we give consistent, long-lasting and amazing results time and time again. So like I said, I've worked with other brands and you might not get the results every single time. So you could have a client in at 10 o'clock and get an amazing result and then have someone in at 11 and it could be a flat, not a great result that you might get. With LASHUS, this isn't the case. So I just love that when a client comes in, I feel really confident that they're going to have the amazing results time and time again and my client's going to leave happy. So even if I wasn't teaching LASHUS, this is the brand that I'll always stick with. I absolutely love it. So there's no harsh chemicals. So I love, because LASHUS is obviously a brand that's enhancing natural beauty, we're working with the natural lashes. It is created with the lash health in mind, so we're going to have really healthy lashes, even though they've been processed and treated to give these amazing long, thick lashes, they're not going to help. It's going to help to maintain the treatment rather than damaging the lashes. So we give long-lasting, consistent results, and the lashes lift lasts 6 to 8 weeks, and this removes when the lashes are naturally shed. So the power of the lift. So LASHUS, the lift, works obviously with your client's natural lashes, and what we want to do is really straighten the lash from the root. So rather than if you've worked with lash perming before, you might use a rod that's kind of curling the lash back. With LASHUS, the lift, we're actually really straightening as opposed to curling back to give that really long, enhanced, natural look. So we perform a tint on the upper and lower lashes then once the lift has been completed, and this just helps to give a more dramatic effect and really open the eyes as well. So rather than just hear me saying how amazing LASHUS is, I'll just show you a quick video of our before and after of the brand. So you can see from that video, like the lift is really lifting and elongating, straightening the lashes as opposed to curling back to give that really wow factor. So just a bit about the lift treatment itself. So it takes 45 minutes to an hour to complete. This depends on your client's lashes. So basically, if your client has more coarse, stubborn lashes, it may take slightly longer to adhere the lashes to the shield, as opposed to someone who has quite easy lashes that are going to adhere. So it depends on your experience as well. So it might take slightly longer if you are a complete beginner, but after a couple of times, it'll be 45 minutes to an hour. You'll get your treatment time down to. It lasts, as I said, 6 to 8 weeks, and this depends on your client's lash cycle. So the 6 to 8 weeks is you won't complete a lift in between those. So if your client comes in and might not have a lift left after the 6 weeks, you can perform the treatment, but you need to make sure that the lashes have naturally shed and there's no lift left. It's suitable for anyone really, so it's obviously quite popular for those who aren't into extensions or might not be heavy makeup wearers. Like I go to the gym quite regularly, so I'm not really a makeup wearer, so I prefer to have my lift on just to make me look a bit more awake. So it's suitable for anybody, but we don't recommend to carry out the treatment on a client who is pregnant, and then obviously if they're contraindicated to the treatment. So I'm going to bring you through the product range, so we'll just meet each of the items individually. So our eye makeup remover is the first step in the LASHUS the lift treatment, but this is also a retail item for your client as well. So it helps to break down any traces of makeup or anything that might be left around the eye area that can act as a barrier. Ideally, we want our clients to come in with no makeup on at all, but even if they have no makeup on, we really want to carry out this first step. It's important to make sure there's no barrier to the lift. So the trade price is $11.43 and it retails at $18.95. It's suitable for sensitive skins and it's quite gentle on the skin and eyes. So then we have our pre-treatment cleanser. So this is the second step in the treatment, and this is professional use only, so we won't retail this to our clients. So what this is going to help do is thoroughly cleanse the lashes to make sure that there's no excess oils or anything left over from the eye makeup remover or anything that can act as a barrier really to the lash lift. For those of you who do nails, I would say this is similar to Scrub Fresh. You're just making sure that the base is squeaky clean, that nothing will act as a barrier to the treatment. So the trade price is $13.25 for this bottle, and it's a 250 ml. So I'll just bring you through a quick video of seeing the first two steps in action of the lift treatment. So we're going to pop our headband on first to make sure no hair gets in the way of the treatment. And then we're going to go in with our eye makeup remover. onto slightly dampened cotton pads. And just a couple of pumps onto either cotton pad. And then we're going to make sure that we're thoroughly cleaning under the eye and around the eye area. As well as the lashes being squeaky clean, we want the surrounding skin to be too, so that the under eye pads or shields are able to adhere correctly. So then, using our dispensing palette, we'll go in with our pre-treatment cleanser. And just 2 pumps onto the dispensing palette. We'll then go in with our sponge tip applicators. So we don't want these to be soaking in the pre-treatment cleanser, so just remove the excess damp onto a tissue. So then we're going to pinch through each lash individually just to make sure they're completely squeaky clean. So just in a pincer movement, just make sure that you're completely removing any excess oils left over in the lashes. And then again, the same on the other eye, just make sure they're completely squeaky clean and ready for their lift. So then we have our hyperallergenic under eye pads. So as I said, I've used other brands, but this one, these under eye pads are completely easy to use, hands down the easiest ones I've ever used. Guys, if I could just get everyone to mute their mics just to avoid any background interference. Thank you. So our under eye pads, they're super easy to use. They have a medical grade adhesive, so they won't budge once they're on your client. They are quite sticky, so we do recommend to apply to the back of your hand. Just apply and remove a couple of times to remove that excess stickiness for your client's comfort. You can see from the image here that we have 2 cut creases on either side. This is what makes them so easy to use. So if you do need to adjust the shields or pads at all, you can just do so slightly without having to completely remove and reapply. They are suitable for a wide range of skin types as they are sensitive for skin types. So they are 10 in a pack and they're single use only, so you'll only use 1 pair per pack, and the trade price is $16.27. So I'll just show you a quick video of the shields being used and how you will apply them. So onto the back of a clean, sanitized hand, you'll just pop both shields on. And just apply and remove a couple of times to the back of your hand, just to get rid of that excess stickiness for your client's comfort. So then the thinner part of the shield will go into the inner corner and the thicker on the outside. And we want to make sure we're catching all of those under lashes. This just make sure that the lashes don't get adhered to the shield above and get lifted. So just make sure you're catching all of those lower lashes. And then just ask your client to close down so that you can see all of the above lashes are outside of the lower shield. So then just a quick tip for using your micropore tape. So if you have a client who has hooded eyes or excess skin around the eye area, if you use your micropore tape, it just helps to really move back and adjust so that you've got more room to place your shield and work with. So just a quick tip to make your life a bit easier. So then we have our shields. So the shields are what's going to determine the shape of the lash. So when we're applying our lift and fix, we're going to break down the way the lashes are currently shaped and then readjust into the new shape of the shield. So it's a super important part of your lift, choosing your correct shield. So they come in 3 different sizes. So you have your small, medium and large. So the small is going to give a dramatic lift on short to medium length lashes. Your medium is for an enhanced lift on medium to long length lashes. And then you've got your large, which is going to give a soft lift on medium to long length lashes. Large is quite good for if you've got a client with super long curly lashes. As we've said previously, it's not similar to permanent in the way you would use a rod to curl back the lashes. If you've got a really long curly lash, this will help to really soften and lift out those curls so that you can really get an enhanced look. So they are single use only, so you'll only use one pair per client, and they come in a pack of 5. The trade price is €9.01. So then I'm just going to show you a quick video of the shields, how you would size them and how you would apply them. So you can see they're super flexible and easy to adjust on any eye shape. So before using any adhesive, we want to make sure that the shield is positioned correctly. So the thickest part where the highest petal is where you need to place your shield into the center of the eye. So you can see where you'll need to trim off, and we'll always trim from the inner corner only. So make sure that there's nothing pointing out that's going to stick into your client's eye, just for client's comfort. So just kind of round it off when you're trimming it. And then we'll do exactly the same to the other eye. So whatever you do to one eye, you must do to the other to give the exact same result. Again, just always making sure you're trimming from the inner corners of the shield. So once we've got the size correct, then you'll pop on your adhesive onto the flat side of the inner corner of the shield. So we won't apply to the petals because this is how we're going to apply the shield. So we're going to go in at an angle, making sure that the shield is flush to the lash line. The adhesive is pressure set, so you'll need to hold down for a couple of seconds to make sure that that shield is held down and it won't budge throughout the treatment. So we have our mirror that you can use to make sure all of the lashes are outside of the shield and none are stuck under. So again, we'll do the same on the other side. We'll go in at an angle. We want to make sure they're flush to the lash line. If there is a gap between the lashes and the shield, this can affect the result of your lift. So we want to make sure it's completely flush to the lash line. So then we have our shield adhesive that you've just seen being used to adhere the shield to the eyelid. So this is what we'll use to adhere the lashes to the shield as well as the shield to the eyelid. So it is quite strong but soft enough to remove. So it's water soluble, which will give for a fast and easy removal, but strong enough to hold the lashes and the shield. It contains castor oil, so it's going to help to nourish the lash throughout the treatment. So again, this is just a side of we focus on the lash health. So it's going to contain castor oil to help treat throughout that hour treatment. So as I said, it's pressure set. You will, similar to when you're applying a nail tip, you will need to hold down for a couple of seconds just to make sure that it doesn't move off. It's pressure set. So it comes in a 5 ml bottle and the trade price is $23.53. So we have 2 different tools that we'll use to adhere the lashes to the shield. So we have our metal tool, which is reusable, and our white tool, which is single use only. So I'm just going to show you a couple of videos of either tool being used. So this is just how the adhesive and the tool will work together. So every time you go to the shield, you must hold it down in place to make sure that it doesn't budge whilst adhering the lashes to the shield. So we'll work in super small sections. The adhesive is fast drying, so we don't want it to dry out again. You get to the top of the lashes. So we're going to go in with our metal tool this time and just using a good amount of pressure and hold them down for a couple of seconds to make sure those lashes are really set to the shield. And we'll just work in small sections, always working from the outside in. So just really making sure that you're holding down on the lashes so they set onto the shield. So we're using the flat part of the metal tool here, and this is what we'll use to adhere the lashes to the shield. And then you can see we have a pointy section, which is what we'll use to comb through the lashes. So just flip it over and comb through like so. We want to make sure our lashes are completely separated and defined. Whatever way we adjust them onto the shield is the way that they're going to set for the 6 to 8 weeks. So it's super important that they are separated completely. It's just really using a good amount of pressure to get all those lashes on. We want to use more pressure, less adhesive. If too much adhesive is used, it may act as a barrier to the lift. So it's really important to get the pressure set right, as opposed to overusing your adhesive. So you might have a couple of stubborn lashes. So if they're a bit shorter than the other ones, a bit more stubborn, they'll stick down, so you can see like so. All you'll do once your lashes are set, just go over those certain areas individually. Just use a bit more pressure to get them all up onto the shield. So that was using the metal tool, how we would use our adhesive and the metal tool together. So then I'm going to bring you through our Y tool. So these are single use only. So you have the flat section, which is going to adhere the lashes to the shield, and then your comb to comb through and define. So again, working in small sections and always working from the outside in, we'll start adhering the lashes to the shield. So really make sure you're using that pressure to adhere the lashes. And whatever tool you use, it just generally depends on preference. If you are already using a LASHUS brand, you might be more used to the metal tool, so that's just preference. I like to use both tools in conjunction with each other. So I would use the metal tool to adhere the lashes to the shield, and then the Y brush to use for the comb. That's just my preference. It generally just depends on your preference. If you're starting out, the comb might be a little bit easier for you to use, because you can comb through a couple at a time. So you can see just super small sections. And really hold them down. You want to grab the lashes completely from the root to make sure that they're not going to budge off through the treatment. And then just comb through to define. So we'll always just keep working our way in. If you do have a couple of stubborn lashes that are pinging off through, once all lashes are adhered to the shield, then we'll go back to those couple of stubborn lashes, just to get those popped on too. You can see we're really using our pressure here as opposed to too much adhesive. Then we're swapping over to our metal tool. So again, you can just use them in conjunction with each other. It just generally depends on your preference of what tool you prefer to use. And then they're completely adjusted to the shield and separated and defined. So that is our metal tool and white tool. So again, the metal tool is reusable. So once you sanitize and clean it down, you can then use it on your other client. Whereas the white comb is single use only. So then our lift and fix lotion, these are the two-step solutions. So the lift lotion is going to help to break down the current bonds. So this is what determines your lashes into the current shape that they're in. So it's going to break down the bonds so that we can set them into the new position with our fix lotion. So the fix lotion rebuilds the bonds into their new position set by the shield. These will set in place for 6 to 8 weeks and they will be removed when the lashes naturally shed. So we don't remove them or anything like that. It's just that they shed with the natural lash cycle. So the timings are 10 to 12 minutes. So if you were to set your lift lotion for 10 minutes, you must then set your fix lotion for 10 minutes. And likewise, if you set your lift lotion for 12, then you must set your fix for 12. So 10 minutes are for healthy to normal lashes. And then you've got your coarse and stubborn lashes for 12 minutes. The way I would determine whether I'm going to use 10 or 12 minutes would be if I have a client whose lashes are really struggling to get onto the shield, they're really coarse and stubborn, and they're pinging off. They take a little bit longer than a regular lash. I would go with the 12 minutes. If you have a lash that really adheres quite easily and smoothly and there's no drama with pinging off, then I would go with your 10 minutes. So it's just, you'll judge it and you'll get familiar with yourself. But for now, just kind of stick when they are coarse or stubborn, I would go with the 12 minutes. And again, if you're setting it for 12 minutes, you must set then the fix lotion for 12 minutes as well. So these are single use only, so you'll only use one pair per client. But then you can use them for your patch testing or sensitivity testing. So you can see in the image here, we have a little section for the date. So once you've used it for your treatment, you can then reseal it up with your micropore tape and use it for 2 weeks for patch testing. Once the 2 weeks is up, you're not going to get an accurate patch test. So then I would just chuck them away and reuse a different one then. So 10 pairs in a pack and they are single use only. The trade price is $49.55. So I'll just show you the lift and fix solution and how you would apply them. So we have our dispensing palette. This just makes your life really easy so you're not using excess products like those plastic dishes. It just gives for a more professional treatment as well. So massage the solutions in the pack to make sure they're completely blended together. And then we're going to go with our lift lotion first. So just trim at the corner because we can reuse it for patch testing, so make sure that's reusable. And then just decant onto the dispensing palette. Then using a micro brush, we'll go in and stir the solution before applying to our client's eyes. So once you've decanted, then you can reseal with your micropore tape and pop the date on the back for your patch testing for 2 weeks. So we'll go in with our micro brush and we'll just go through the midsection of the lash. We won't go past the midsection of the lash because we don't want to go to the tips. Obviously, they're at the last stage of the lash cycle, so they will be a little bit more sensitive. So we don't want to over process the tips of the lashes. From the midsections only, once you've got a line straight across your midsection on both sides, then you'll set your timer. So whether it's 10 or 12 minutes, depending on how your client's lashes react to adhering to the shield. Once your timer is set, then we'll walk down the first eye that we applied the line through the midsection. We'll start to walk from the outside of the eye inward with this lift lotion. So working right down to the lash line, but obviously making sure we're avoiding our client's waterline. So again, we're just always holding the shield as we're touching, if for any reason, to make sure it doesn't budge any. So just make sure the whole midsection to lash line is completely covered. And we're just walking our way in. So then we can go in with our lash mirror. So such a handy little thing to have to make sure that you're not touching the waterline, but you are flush to the lash line. So once your timer is up, then we'll start to remove from the first eye that we've applied the lotion to. So using a micro brush, we're just going to decant the lotion onto the tissue. So we're going to remove in a circular motion as opposed to a lot of pressure and pulling back. If you apply too much pressure, it can make the lashes jump off the shield. So we want to do it in firm enough to remove the solution in a circular motion as opposed to pulling back too much. So just in a slightly circular motion from the lash line to midsection, completely remove the lift lotion. We want to make sure the lashes have been completely removed from the lift lotion before we apply the fix. Again, just making sure that we're focused on the lash health to avoid any over processing. So once our lift lotion has been applied and removed, we'll then go in with the fix lotion application, exactly as we did with the lift lotion. So again, we'll dispense onto our dispensing palette. We really want to make sure that the fix and the lift lotion do not cross-contaminate with each other whilst on the eye. So I'd always just recommend, once you've sanitized and cleaned it down, it's fine, but I would always just recommend to use it into a different part of the dispensing palette, just so that we're being really vigilant to make sure that the solutions aren't crossing over with each other. And then just stir as we did before. And then seal up our sachets for our patch testing. Make sure you pop the date on the back. So the microfiber tape just comes in so handy for all those little bits, all those tips and tricks. So just seal it up so that you get an accurate patch test. And then pop your date that you've used it on. So exactly like we did with the lift lotion, we'll go in with our fix lotion. So our fix lotion is rebuilding those bonds into their new position. So we want to make sure wherever we touched with the lift lotion, we are then going in with the fix lotion to make sure that the lashes are completely set and covered where we've broken them down. So again, 10 to 12 minutes. Wherever you did the lift, you must do with the fix. So if you set your lift for 10, you'll set your fix for 10. And likewise for 12 and 12. So again, we're going to walk from the midsection down to the lash line, exactly like we did with the lift. And just completely walk our way down, making sure we're completely covering all of those areas. And then just check we're not touching the waterline, making sure our client's comfort is also a high priority. And then just remove exactly like the lift lotion. We'll just remove in a circular motion, making sure not to apply too much pressure. So this is just a little tip. So if you have a client who has quite a few lashes that are pinging back, which it can happen, it just depends on where the lashes are in their lash cycle. So if you have maybe a couple of shorter lashes that are just constantly pinging back no matter how much pressure you use, this is just a handy little tip to have to make sure that all those lashes are just getting a little, even just pushed back to the treatment a little bit so they're holding in place. The micro tape just comes in so handy for everything. So we're going to use a small section of the micro tape, enough to cover the eye area. And then a slightly longer one. So what we want to do is almost create a hammock for your eye. So you want the micro tape to be able to adhere to either side, but we don't want the stickiness to be touching the actual eye section. So just stick them flat down to each other. Again, just making sure you're leaving a section on either side to adhere to the skin, but you're covering that excess stickiness on the micro tape where it's going to be touching the eye area. And you've got your sections on either side. So then, similar to the shield, you'll go in at an angle to make sure that we're getting it flush to the lashes. So this is just a super handy tip to have if you don't have a client that's a couple of lashes are pinging off. It just makes sure that they're getting the lift treatment as well. So hold them all back to the shield. So if you do this to one eye, you must then do it to the other eye. Again, anything that we do to one eye, we must do to the other. So we have our blue black intense tint. So this is the only colour we currently have available in our tint for LASHUS. It's super dramatic, super amazing. I absolutely love it. For even for regular tinting, I would use this on my clients. Like, I have gone away from any other tint. It's so good. So it is obviously a permanent professional lash tint. So it will help to enhance and define the natural lashes once the lift and fix has been performed. Then we'll go in with our tint. So it is going to last for 6 to 8 weeks. So it just depends on when your client's lashes naturally shed. So once opened, use within 12 months, and it comes in a 15 ml pack. The trade price is $7.80. So then once we use our tint, we obviously need to mix it with our developer. So we have our own premium tint developer. The tint works really quickly. It's honestly, you need to see it in action. It's so good. I can't scream about this enough. So you'll use 1 centimeter of tint mixed with 2 to 3 drops of developer. You want to make sure that you're getting a creamy consistency so that it's not watery and running into your client's waterline, but that it's creamy and holding while the lashes are still on the shield. Because obviously it is a product that oxidizes super quickly, we want to make sure that once we're finished using it, we seal it tightly. It is a 1 month use, so once it's been opened, you need to then go on and get another one after 1 month of using. It comes in a 20 ml bottle, and the trade price is €9.01. So I'll just show you a video of the tint application. So again, we have our dispensing palette. It is stainless steel, so the tint is a non-stain palette. And again, we use it for all steps of the treatment, so it's really handy to have. So you do your 1 centimeter of tint and your 2 to 3 drops of developer. Then you can use a sponge tip applicator or a micro brush, it's just your preference, and just make sure you're thoroughly stirring that tint together. We want to make sure we've got a creamy texture as opposed to watery, if you don't want it running into your client's waterline. You can see it's super creamy, it's just holding on to the sponge tip applicator as opposed to running off it. So we want to tint the under eyelashes as well. So we're going to remove our under eye pads. The lashes may be stuck down, obviously, if they have been under the shield. They might have been stuck down to the skin, so we want to just make sure we're really brushing those up, because we're going to readjust them over the under eye pads. Then using the same under eye pad, we're going to scoop those lashes, and instead of tucking them under this time, we want them above the pads. And the same on the other side. Obviously, it's still quite sticky as it is a medical grade adhesive, so just make sure to hold your client's skin when you're removing them. And just scoop those lashes above the shield. It's just going to protect the skin, because we are going to tint our lower lashes. It's going to protect the skin from any tint. So then we're going to go on with our tint. We really only need a very, very little amount of this tint. So we're finally going to paint it on. So I know myself, and I'm sure the rest of us here, when we're trying to tint, we use mountains and mountains amount of tint. We don't need it. So it's obviously going to benefit you for your cost per service. You're not going to need to buy your tint as regularly, because we're really finely painting it onto those lashes. Very, very little amount needed. So once the lower lashes have been tinted, we'll then set our timer for 5 minutes. We'll start working from the tips of the lashes. Because the lower lashes and the tips haven't been processed, they need a slightly longer amount of time than the midsection to lash line, because obviously with the lift and fix lotions, the cuticle of the lash has already been opened, so they'll process a lot quicker than the lower lashes and tips of the lashes. So we'll cover the lower lashes, set our timer, and then go on to the tips. And then once your timer is down to 3 minutes, you'll go from the midsection to the lash line. And again, you can see we're just really finely painting it. Like I know before I done LASHUS, I would have been putting mountains more tint than you can see we're finely painting on here. So very little tint is needed. Again, just making sure we're not touching the waterline for your client's comfort. And you can again and just make sure that all of the hair is completely covered with the tint. So it's a super fast development time as well. So your 5 minutes is for the tips of the lashes and the lower lashes, and the 3 minutes is for the midsection to the waterline. So super, super fast, super fast. And again, the 3 minutes is from the midsection to the lash line. That is purely because the cuticle of the lash has already been opened. If you're using it for a regular tint on lashes that haven't been processed, you would go in with your 5 minutes. So then we'll show you the tint removal and just the cleanup. So we're coming to the end of the treatment now. So using a dry cotton pad, you can just remove that excess tint off. So it just depends on your preference. You can do this obviously and cover the whole eye with the cotton pad, or you can use the sponge tip applicator and work in smaller sections. And we're just really removing the bulk of that tint off. So then using a very slightly dampened cotton pad and sponge tip applicator. So we're just very slightly enough to remove the water soluble adhesive, but not too much that we're going to weigh the lash lift down. So completely removing that excess. Good. So again, it just depends on your preference if you want to use your cotton pad or your sponge tip applicator. You're going to push back with that slightly dampened cotton pad, and you're just pushing back to break down the water-soluble adhesive. And we push back as opposed to dragging down, so we don't weigh down the lift. So we're just really helping to push those lashes off the shield. We're just breaking down the adhesive. Then we'll go in with our slightly dampened sponge tip applicators and do exactly as we did with the cotton pad, and then we can just ping them off by the tips. So you can see we're not dragging it down, we're just pinging them off because the water has already broken down the adhesive. They just come off super easy once you've broken down that adhesive. Super fast removal. So again, it's very slightly dampened as opposed to heavily dampened with water. We don't obviously want to weigh down the lift with too much water. Then we're removing our under eye pads. So then we're going to remove our shield. So again, this was applied with our water soluble adhesive. So it removes super quickly. You want to just remove any excess adhesive that might be left over on the eyelid. And then you can dampen the micropore tape because it is quite sticky, just so that it's not pulling with the client's skin, and then obviously hold the client's skin as you remove. So exactly like we did on the opposite eye, we'll just break down that adhesive with our dampened sponge tip applicators. You can see there's a little bit of adhesive left over, so we'll just make sure to go in and remove any adhesive left on the lid. And then we'll remove and micro tape again. So then we will pinch through with our two sponge tip applicators. We're making sure that the adhesive is completely removed from all lashes, and also that there's no tint left over. So we want those lashes squeaky clean from any adhesive or excess tint. Just always make sure to pinch through at the end once everything is been removed. And then we're going to comb through with our disposable mascara wand. We're just going to push them back up and comb through. This just, if there is any excess adhesive still left over, even though we've thoroughly removed, this will just comb out any adhesive that might be left over, and just push the lashes back into their shape. So then we'll ask our client to open her eyes and remove any excess tint that might be left over underneath the eye. And then we have our tint remover. So if you might have gotten a little bit of tint anywhere around the eye area, we'll use a dry cotton pad to remove that tint, just to give your more professional and clean treatment. We obviously can't use this too close to the eye area, so if you wouldn't use it to remove tint from the lashes or anything like that, as it would cause serious irritation to your client's eyes if used with the lashes. So it's just for the surrounding areas. So you've seen your tint remover being used. So it's obviously going to stop any tint being left over from a professional point of view, so you'll get your amazing results, and then we know to excess tint left on the eyes or surrounding skin. And then if the tint is left on, obviously it can cause irritation to your client. So it's just really important that we're removing any tint that we might have left behind. So this comes in a 90ml bottle and the trade price is $10.22. So sensitivity testing. So we've seen the lift being performed, we've done our lift, we've done our tint. And so that is the full treatment that we've seen in the videos I've just shown you. So this is our sensitivity testing, and this is super, super important to carry out 48 hours before the lift treatment. So we want to make sure that we are performing the lift, fix and shield adhesive on one side and the tint on the opposite. So we'll always patch test on the inner hook crease of the arm, and we'll apply our lift and fix and shield adhesive onto one side, and then we'll apply our tint and tint developer onto the inner corner of the opposite arm. Therefore, if your client is restricted to the lift, they might be able to have the tint, or likewise the other way around, just so that we know where the reaction is coming from. And we do it on the inner corner rather than behind the ear, so that your client can physically see the sensitivity test yourself. So we will apply them on the both inner corners and then set for 10 minutes only. Once your 10 minutes is up, you can remove with a damp cotton pad. I know 10 minutes seems like quite a long time for someone to go in for a sensitivity testing, but while they are there, you can fill out the top of their client's card to make sure they're not contraindicated to the treatment. So if they come in for their patch testing and then they come back in 2 days' time and they're actually contraindicated to the treatment, it just saves time on that. So then just get your client to keep an eye on the sensitivity area for 48 hours. And then obviously when they come in, just double check that sensitivity area. And then this needs to be completed every 6 months. Your client can remove the excess tint after 48 hours, but until that 48 hours is up, they can't touch it once you've just removed slightly with the dampened cotton wool. I'll just show you the video of the sensitivity test. So we're going to pop a little bit of the lift lotion. We're going with our fix lotion and our shield adhesive. So just a little bit of each, it's not a massive amount needed. And then 1 centimeter to 3 drops of tint, and then we're just going to apply into the inner corner of the opposite arm. And then set your timer for 10 minutes. Again, while the 10 minutes is going through, you can go through your sensitivity or your client record card and just have a chat with what your client is looking to achieve. Then you remove with a damp cotton wool. So then we have our LASHUS record cards. So as I was saying, with the sensitivity test, you can fill out the top section, so for the absolute and limiting contraindications. Your client record card should be completed by us as a therapist and then signed by our client and therapist in turn. So if your client answers yes to any absolute contraindications, we cannot proceed with the treatment. This is really important that if it's an absolute contraindication, you cannot carry out the treatment. Then if it is a limiting contraindication, you might need a signature from a doctor, or we might need to discuss it further. There is ways around the limiting contraindications, we just need to look into it further, but an absolute is a complete no. So the signature shows on the client record card that the client understands what can happen, the reactions, the aftercare, everything like that involved in the treatment. So the card should be stored correctly according to your GDPR and checked and updated at every appointment. You can see there's a section at the end here which is really helpful. So if your client comes in and absolutely loves our lift, we can see exactly what we've done in the last treatment, so that we're making sure we're using the exact shield size, the exact amount of time, so that they're getting the same result time and time again, no matter if there's 2 different therapists using it in your salon. So it's really helpful to have this at the end, and then we can see kind of what your client's lashes are, whether they're short, medium, long. This will obviously help to choose our shields, everything like that. So really good to have. So then our pre-treatment advice, which is super, super important. So we want to make sure our client is avoiding any serums, waterproof mascaras, oily products, so including our lash and brow elixir, which I'll show you in a couple of minutes. So avoid anything like this for 24 hours before the treatment. This is so important to make sure that there's no barrier to the lift treatment so that they get the best result possible. So when your client comes in, we're then going to check any changes on the client's record card, obviously when they're getting the treatment done. Advise your client not to wear mascara on the day. So ideally we want our client to not come in with any makeup on for having a lift treatment. Obviously this is going to eat into your treatment time, and if they have like waterproof mascara, it can act as a barrier to the treatment. Even though we've thoroughly cleaned it, we just want to make sure it's completely left with no mascara before coming in. If your client is wearing contact lenses, this has happened to me in the salon where a client always wears glasses, and this particular day she came in with contact lenses, but they weren't reusable, so they were single use. So she couldn't carry out the treatment. I couldn't do the treatment because she'd no replacement for her contact lenses, and she wouldn't have made it home without her glasses. So it's really important that we give all this information, because we think they'll know it, but if they come in the day, they might not. They might have not even thought of that. And then obviously we're going to check the results of our sensitivity testing. So our after treatment advice obviously is really, really important as well, to make sure that your client's lift is the best that they can possibly be, and that they're not going to do anything to damage the lift. So your client needs to keep their eyes completely dry for 24 hours. So like if they're washing their hair, going to the gym. Like I remember like one of my first lift treatments that I'd gotten done on myself. I then went to the gym, got into the steam room, got into the sauna, had washed my hair, and then like it was after weighing down my lift. So it's really, really important that we advise them that if it can weigh down the lashes, it will. So it's really important that they keep it completely dry. So after 24 hours, use their lash and brow elixir. So this is a product that I'll show you after. It's a retail item that we have. And then if they're using that every day, but they need to wait for the 24 hours. So your client must avoid contact with steam for 48 hours. So like I say, steam rooms, or if you're using the oven and you open and that whack of steam comes in, obviously you want to avoid that to break down the lift. And then just do not rub or disturb the lashes for 48 hours. So once your 48 hours is up, they can pop mascara on, they can do what they like, but it's just for those 24 to 48 hours to follow these guidelines to get the best results possible. So then we have our retail range. So I've already shown you the eye makeup remover, which is the first step in the LASHUS lift treatment. And then we have our lash and brow elixir, so you can use it on lashes and brows. So they can't use it until the 24 hours after the lift treatment, and stop using it 24 hours before the lift treatment. So it's going to help to promote lash health and growth and maintain health and strength of the lash. So it's absolutely fabulous. It comes in, there's like a mascara wand to apply it, so there's no excess oils being used. You're not going to waste any product or anything like that. It's really, really easy to use. And I actually just use it to comb with my brows. And then you can comb through your lashes. Once they have the lift done, they might not want to wear mascara, and I just comb it through. Really, really nice product. So it contains oils derived from tree nuts and seeds, so it's really important to obviously advise this to your clients in case they have a nut allergy. So the trade price is $16.27 and the retail price is $26.25. I absolutely love this. I swear by it. So good. So good. So then we have our salon support. So you can see we have branding from a point of view of the salon. So you have your window clings, we've seen our client record cards, so they are branded with our logos. We have our retail bags, the posters that you can display in the salon, and your client appointment card. So this will have the pre-treatment and post-treatment advice. So the support that we offer here at Sweet Squared. So we have our online support. So we have the Facebook LASHUS Pro support group, and then you have the regional support group. So you have your Sweet Squared Ireland. If you're not a member, I'll give you the details at the end so that you can join. The LASHUS Pro support group is really, really handy. It's just a team of all of our educators, anybody who's done the LASHUS coursing, and just if you've got any questions that we're not there to answer, maybe on a Saturday or a Sunday and you've got clients in, it's just we've got all our educators there, loads of people who've done the courses. It's a really good environment for to be in if you're doing the LASHUS. So then we have our Instagram, which is Love LASHUS, so you can see all of the products being used and some lovely marks and stuff as well there. And then you have our support, obviously, with ourselves in customer experience. You can bring us up, you can order online, and then we have a next day delivery. So there is a free returns and free delivery on €65, that's ex-VAT. So then you have your silent marketing that I've previously shown you, and then the social media stuff as well. So on the LASHUS Pro support group and on the Sweet Squared Ireland, you can find that as well. So we've got some lovely deals exclusive to you for joining us today. So we have our LASHUS the Lift kit. So this is like a full system of the LASHUS the Lift. So you've got our Y brushes, which are again single use only, and they come in a pack of 5. You have your LASHUS pin badge, the eye makeup remover, which is used in part of the treatment, but also as a retail item for your client, the pre-treatment cleanser, and then you have a pack of small and medium shields, so that's 5 pairs per pack, so you get 10 in total. Your shield, the adhesive lash lift tool, dispensing palette. So dispensing palette is what we use on each part of the treatment to decant the items onto. Then you've got your under eye pads, which come in a pack of 10. Then you've got your lift and fix lotion, which come in a pack of 10. So again, these are single use only. Then you have your blue black tint, your premium tint developer, your lash mirror that you've seen us using a couple of times. So it just gives for a more premium, more professional treatment, that we're not coming around and checking our clients, that we actually have the mirror there so that you can see without coming around and face to face with your client. Then you've got some marks and stuff, so your window thing, your pre and post advice, your client record cards, and then you've got 3 lash and brow elixir retail items, so really, really good. Your LASHUS black apron, and then you've got a one-to-one educator. So this is exclusive to us here for this course, and it is a total saving of €195. So it was €360 and it's down to €166, so that's really good. So this is exclusive to you guys only. And then we've got our combined kit, so everything that we had with our lift, then we have our extension range as well. So if you are someone who is doing lifting and extensions, this is a really good buy-in offer for you guys to take the opportunity to have. This is again exclusive to everyone on this course today. So the total saving is €313. So it was 661 and it's now 348. So super savings, and that is for your full lift range, and then to try out the extension range as well. So really, really good to have. Really good. And then this is enough for 10 clients. So if you wanted to just try us out with the 10 clients rather than buying into the whole range, you're saving 25% with this, and it's $76.53. And then we have our try us kit. So if you just wanted to try out one client, this is enough to get your one client tested and tried. So it just covers everything, the main parts of the treatment, and it's $14.52 to try us out. So I hope you all enjoyed today. So if you've got any questions that maybe I haven't covered, I know Victoria's been covering the chat for any questions. But if you've got any questions at all, just fire away now. If there's anything I didn't cover throughout. You can pop yourselves off mute as well if you've got any questions.
Yasmin, I'm just wondering, can you get the lash extensions when you have done the LASHUS lift course?
So do you mean if you've done the lift course, are you then qualified to do extensions?
Well, I've done an extension course already, and I've been doing extensions for years, but I'm just wondering, can I buy the extensions now as well with you? Like, do you have to do the training with you, or?
So we do recommend doing the training because obviously we might do a little different than how you've trained. So there is a conversion option with the lash extensions. So the lash lift course won't qualify you to do lash extensions, but if you are previously qualified with extensions, you can definitely purchase them. We'll just need to obviously see the certificate first off. But yeah, you can. The lift course won't qualify you for the extensions. You'll just need to provide your certificate. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Has anybody else got any questions? No? Okay, guys. Well, then I hope you all enjoyed. If you've got any questions, like you can call us. I'll be on the phones, or my email address is Jasmine JAZMYN .McCarthy MCCARTHY @sweetsquared.com. I know it can be hard to think of a question now, like when you're on the spot. So if there is anything that might pop into your head, in a day or so, just pop me an email and I'll get back to you. So I hope you all enjoyed. And again, just if you have any questions, give me a call. I'm there 9 to 5, or pop me an email. Okay. Thanks so much, guys. Have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.